Yes, my dear students, if you can see the smile on my face, the reason is Ma'am Samita Guha, who is just at Kolkata studio, BACA studio, and it's indeed a proud moment for me.
Hello to everyone. This is a small recording, a video of a poem that you will study when you are in class 9, The Cold Within. Now you must be wondering, of all the class 9 poems, why have I started with The Cold Within? Whereas this is not the first poem in the syllabus of class 9. This is the second poem. Now there is a reason why I have started with The Cold Within. The reason being the times today. We have become very selfish. We only know about ourselves. You, me, all of us. We only know about ourselves. Me, I, myself. And perhaps our immediate family. Beyond that, we cannot see and we do not want to see. As a result, for example, in this poem by James Patrick Kinney, 6 persons, 1 woman and 5 men. They are caught by chance in a bleak, dull, bare, wintry night. Now they have to guard themselves. How do they guard themselves? There is a fire which is burning right in front of them. So all the 6 of them stand around. Why? Because they want to warm themselves. It is a wintry night, so they have to warm themselves. Now the fire can't be burning on itself. It has to go on and on burning. For that, what do? We put the wood into the fire to keep the fire igniting, burning. Now all these 6 people have a log of wood in their hand. Why? Because they have to put their log of wood into the fire so that the fire keeps on and on burning. If I decide that I'm not going to put my log of wood into the fire, why? Because I don't like that man. Another person does the same. What happens in the end? The fire automatically is burned out, it is extinguished. They cannot remain alive. That is exactly what happens. Each one of them is selfish. They have a prejudice. I'm writing the word. P-R-E-J-U-D-I-C-E. Prejudice. Now this seems a difficult word. It is a difficult word. Another very easy word for prejudice is, again, perhaps this is also a difficult word. Bias, B-I-A-S, meaning a one-sided opinion. For example, I don't like one person. Now there is a reason why I don't like him or her. There are many reasons. But that person is not only to be disliked, that person can be liked also. So someone tells me he has or she has her good points. But I say no. I don't like him means I don't like him. He cannot have any good points. I am prejudiced. I am biased. I have a one-sided opinion about this person. These 6 human beings had exactly that. They were prejudiced. The first paragraph tells you about the poet, James Patrick Kinney. The second paragraph tells you about the poem. The poem describes the tragic death of a group of 6 people who stand around, yes, they're standing around a fire, each holding onto a log of wood. Allowing their selfishness, each one of them, they are selfish in their own way. Prejudice, again I said, I've given you that word prejudice, bias, one-sided opinion. I don't like that person because he's selfish. He can be selfish, but he can be something else also in a positive way. No, he is selfish. I do not see any good points about that man. Some of them are selfish, some have malice. What does malice mean? Malice means envy. They are jealous of some reason. Envy. And suspicious. And this selfishness, this envy, this suspicious, that makes them, that guides their actions. Because of this, they refuse to share that fuel. You need that log of wood to go into the fire, to keep the fire igniting, to keep the fire burning. Because they are selfish, because they are envious, because they believe, one believes that I will not support the other man because he is not of my religion. They refuse to fuel the fire and keep their log of wood. And eventually in the morning, what happens? The fire dies out. Each of them is found frozen to death. It's a very, very chilly night. It's freezing. They're frozen to death. And unfortunately, the log of wood, which should go into the fire, that log of wood is held in their hands. That log of wood could have easily saved their lives. But no. Selfish attitude, their hard-heartedness, their lack of warmth, their lack of feeling, their feeling that that person does not belong to my religion, all these act as barriers. They are restrictions. They come in the way. And that disallows them to help one another. Now, when I started the poem, I said, why did I choose of all the poems, this poem in class 9? Not any other poem as the first poem. Why? Because this poem is a very simple but a powerful reminder that if we hold on very selfishly to something which could save another person's life, ultimately what happens? We are not saved also. If I dig a pit for another person, eventually I will also fall into the same pit. Why should we be discriminating? Meaning, why should we be differentiating? He is not of my religion, so I won't support him. He is poor, so I am rich, so I will not support him. He is dark-skinned, so I will not support him. The poor things, he is rich. He only does things for his own profit. I will not support him. Ultimately, what happens? None of us are saved. We are responsible for our own failures, which we refuse or we cannot see, or we are blind to it. If we all help each other, we can all survive and exist. This poem, The Cold Within. Cold, they have assembled on a cold, wintry night. But it is not the cold without, that is outside cold, the external cold, which has killed them. It is the cold within, that is the coldness inside them, that has killed them. They are responsible for their own death. This poem is an, if you see, allegory. A-L-L-E-G-O-R-Y. I hope you can see it. And then you see a year written, 1960. Now, what is an allegory? You know, sometimes you're asked in your schools, in your ICSE question paper, what is the form of the poem? So if you're asked what is the form of the poem, you will say it is an allegory. A-L-L-E-G-O-R-Y. What is an allegory? An allegory is a poem which has a hidden meaning. What is the hidden meaning of this poem? The cold within. The cold or the lack of warmth, no feelings, no emotions, selfishness that we have within us. That is the hidden meaning. It is not just the cold outside, the external cold. It is the cold inside our hearts. We have a saying, he is very cold. He's a very cold person. Means someone who shows no emotions. When you say, no, he looked at me very coldly. That coldly is not feeling cold. He looked at me coldly means he looked at me without any emotions. The cold within. The lack of emotions, the lack of warmth, the lack of feelings that we have in our hearts. That is exactly what this poem is all about. you.